Okay, so good day to everyone, and let us continue our discussion on our subject with regards to fundamental of criminal investigation and intelligence. And in continuation, we are going to deal on the sketching the crime scene and evidence. So as shown on the slide ay yan po yung sample sketch wherein yung drawing ay nasa gitna or upper portion na kung saan ay malaki yung area niya, nakikita yung drawing. And then sa baba naman niya ay may mga legend tayo kung ano yung kaso, date and time, nandyan nakalagay and that is part of our discussion as we go on. So ano nga ba ang sketch, so how sketch important, or how important is a sketch in criminal investigation? So don't forget, future investigator, that in criminal investigation, there are factors that can prove or that can collaborate your presentation or evidence that you are going to present later on in court trial. And don't forget na lahat ng gagawin ninyo ay ipapakita nyo yan sa korte. So there is always a purpose kung bakit kayo nagpipicture, nagpo-photograph. There is always a picture why you made or you need to make a sketch. So before we proceed, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng sketch at saka yung sketching? Pag sinabi nating sketching, this is the process of recording of information with regards to the crime that being investigated. Pag sinabi naman nating sketch, that is now the graphic representation of the crime scene. So kompleto na yan, kagaya ng sample natin kanina, tapos na yon, that is already a sketch. And when we say sketch, that is the process of making a sketch. So wag niyong kalilimutan yan na minsan nalilito yung mga nagtitake ng board about sketch and sketching. So there are two general kinds of sketch. Mayroon tayong dalawa na klase ng sketch. Meron tayong tinatawag na rough sketch and finish sketch. Itong rough sketch, mga kaibigan, is a sketch made by the investigator at the crime scene. And ang finish sketch naman, this is for court presentation. So ibig sabihin, kapag i-present mo yan sa korte, maayos na. Kompleto na yung drawing mo, kompleto yung laman ng sketch, na i-discuss natin kanina. And presentable yung sketch mo, and that is finished sketch. Wherein, once na nakita na ni judge or defense lawyer, makikita niya kaagad-agad or maiintindihan kaagad-agad nila yung konsepto ng crime scene na nangyari. Okay, so ano ba ang reason bakit tayo mag-sketch? Of course, this is to refresh the memory of the investigator and to refresh the memory of those lawyers that involved in the case trial. Because sometimes, ang isang kaso ay hindi naman natatapos kaagad-agad in one sitting. Usually, inaabot yung mga iba, inaabot ng taon. Kagaya ni Laila de Lima, ilang taon yan na nakakulong. Saka lang magbibigay ng verdict na dismiss ang kaso. So something like that. Yan yung mga scenario natin na it will refresh the memory of the investigator, and of course that will express the locations of the objects yung relationship ng mga evidence surrounding the crime scene, surrounding the body of the victim, and of course to assist those lawyers, those prosecutor, lawyers, and the judge in understanding the condition of the crime scene. And of course, yung nabanggit natin kanina, aside na mayroon tayong photograph, it's supplement to the photograph. Ibig sabihin, sinusuportahan niya yung result ng photograph or yung picture na pinapakita supported by the sketch. And to assist in questioning of witnesses and the suspect. Now, ito yung mga parts of the sketch. So, mayroon tayong title. Pag sinabi nating title, yan yung ano ba yung crime na nangyari? Is that murder, homicide, rape? Is that vehicular accident? And etc. etc. Based on the assessment of the investigator kung ano yung crime na nangyari. What is the crime committed? Yan yung ilalagay niya na title. And then yung drawing, yan na yung body. Ano? So it's up to the sketcher, yung presentation niya, yung drawing niya, yung nadatnan nila. Okay? And lahat yan, lahat ng mga ng anggulo, i-drawing, dapat ni sketcher yan. Kaya nga, isang reason bakit ang mga PNP ay kumukuha ng engineer. Because, hindi naman tayo marunong mag-drawing Tayong may mga iba naman na marunong, pero I think may mga iba rin na hindi marunong. Kaya kinakailangan natin yung may skills on how to draw. Kasi magagamit sila during crime scene search or crime scene investigation. And of course, huwag niyong kalilimutan yung compass direction, wherein the standard arrow to indicate the north direction. Nakalagay yan sa right area or right portion ng sketch. Okay, so halimbawa, sabi dyan, paano ba malalaman yung north direction? So, kailangan mo lang daw alamin saan ba sumisikat ang araw. Yan. Pag nalaman mo where the sun rises, and that is the east, automatically, that is the east. And to determine the north direction, just face the east, and to your left side, that is the north direction. Okay? So, yan po, So, depende kung saan nakatayo, saan umanggulo yung sketcher, doon naman niya ilalagay. Either nasa left, nasa right, nasa taas yung north direction. And of course, the nature of the case. No? So, ano ba ang nature of the case? This refers to the status of the case. Yung nangyari noong nandun na kayo. Dead on, patay na ba yung biktima? Or buhay pa ba yung biktima? Ano ang nangyari? What's the nature of the case? So, ilalagay nyo rin dyan. No? And then of course, the location, the date and time of incident. Kaya mag-imbestiga kayo. Ano ba yung calculation ninyo? Date and time of the incident. So, madidetermine yan, ma-assess yan, matatansya yan, investigator. Siyempre, yung time of call. May tumawag, di ba? And then yung pag tumawag, lahat yan naka-record yan sa police station. And the time of arrival, ma-assess nila kung ano ba yung date, ano ba yung time na nangyari yung insidente. Importante kasi yan. And of course, the name of the victim, name of the suspect, and sa another important thing is yung legend. Yung legend kasi, halimbawa, naglagay ka ng 1, sa drawing, makikita sa drawing, nakalagay na 1, 2, 3, ganon. Ibig sabihin, pag sa baba, yung 1, yun pala yung knife. Yung 2, yun pala yung blood. Okay, di ba? So, ganon yan. May mga legend na nakalagay kung ano ba yung na-drawing sa body. Okay? So, of course, pag natapos na, kailangan ng signature. Of course, the sketcher yan. At saka, yung date and time niya na ginawa. Right? So, we have this specific kind of sketch here. Sketch of locality, ibig sabihin ay sa crime scene, yung mga katabi niyang structure, building, ganun din yung highway, na papunta dyan sa crime scene. Yan, kaya tinawag yan na sketch of locality. Kung baga, medyo malawak, yung sketch niyan, yung drawing niyan. Yung sketch of the ground naman, ay dyan lang sa katabi. Katabi, just like nearby room, adjacent room, opposite room, no? Number of floors, yan, that is sketch of the ground. Pag sinabi naman nating sketch of details, yan naman yung exact location of the crime scene. Yan na yung exact location, yung sketch of details. Right? Then, pag sinabi naman nating cross projection, that describes the immediate scene only. Okay, comparing sa sketch of details, yung crime scene, yung lugar, pinicturan mo, halimbawa, sa room number 1. Ayun, doon mo pinicturan lahat or pinicturan, in-sketch, I should say. In-sketch mo. Pagdating naman kay cross projection, yung crime scene na. Just like yung presentation natin kanina, that is an example of cross projection. Okay? And don't forget also that there are general types of suspect identification. Number 1 ay yung positive identification at ang number 2 ay tracing identification. Pag sinabi nating positive identification ay ito yung mga ebidensya na the suspect cannot deny because of the result of forensic investigation or forensic science. You cannot deny. While in tracing identification, this is just a indicative of personal identity of the individual. Just like may nakakita sa'yo. May mga gamit ka na na-recover doon. Pwede mo bang kontrahin yan? Kung sa number 1, you cannot deny. Ang number 2 naman, you can rebut. Pwede mo namang i-deny yan. No? Kaya kung baga, sa tracing ay may tsansa na maniwala ang judge sa'yo kapag nag-deny ka. Pero pagdating kay positive identification, wala kang deny dyan kasi nga that is based on forensic science. And ano ba ang evidence? What is mean by legal evidence? Pag sinabi nating evidence, yung mga presentation mo bilang isang investigador, ay dapat may ebidensya ka laban sa suspect. Pag sinabi nating suspect, yan yung person of interest. So, sabi ng sa definition ng evidence, it is the sanction of these rules. Talagang sinasanction ka, ascertaining in a judicial proceeding the truth respecting a matter of fact. Yung totoo, no? Totoo ba na sa'yo yung fingerprint na yan? Kapag nag-positive na sa'yo yan, and that is an evidence. Totoo ba na baril mo yan? Totoo ba na ikaw ang sumaksak? No, those are the legal definition of evidence. It is the sanction by these rules. Pagdating naman sa technical definition ng evidence, of course, that is any material which tends to persuade the court of the truth. So lahat ng mga bagay within the crime scene nakapag-link sa'yo sa suspect at na-establish nila yung mga ebidensya na yon at talagang ikaw ang itinuturo, ang ibig sabihin niyan ay physical evidence according to the technical definition. So dalawa yung definition natin, yung legal definition at saka yung technical definition. Ngayon may mga classes of evidence tayo. Okay, so unang-una ay yung testimonial evidence. In the word itself, testimonial, yung salita. So this is person. So mayroon ka bang witness? So halimbawa, ang witness mo ay si A, B, and C. Ibig sabihin, magte-testify yung tatlo na yan dyan sa korte as your testimonial evidence. Okay? At ang documentary evidence naman, of course, mga document. Just like halimbawa, idinidinay mo na may utang ka, mayroon ka namang pinirmahan, may kasulatan ka naman, and that is a documentary evidence. At yung mga screenshot, just like for example, you file a cyber libel. Ano yung ebidensya mo sa cyber libel? Of course, those screenshot in those form part of documentary evidence. O kaya ay mga official records. No? Kasi yung mga official record na yan, sinasabi ng batas natin that could speak for themselves. Lalong-lalo na kung may pirma ka, unless kung contrary, halimbawa, ginaya-gaya lang yung signature mo, yung perma mo, patunayan mo sa korte. But kung totoo naman, it could speak for themselves. Yan, those are called documentary evidence. Huwag niyong kalilimutan, yung dalawa ay yung subpoena dusisticum. No? Subpoena dusisticum, ibig sabihin, ay inuobliga ka ni korte na idala yung mga document na yan as evidence. Ibig sabihin yan, subpoena dusisticum. Subpoena testificandum naman, yung tao naman yan na magte-testify. Okay, so yung physical evidence o kaya ay ang other term ng physical evidence ay yung real evidence. Yan. So, as we discussed kanina, lahat ng mga nandyan within the crime scene na it connects, that has a relation to the crime that was committed is considered as physical evidence. And we have also the circumstantial evidence that indirectly. Yan kasi yung mga indirectly proved. So, halimbawa, yung mga nagiinuman, no, nag-away-away, ay yan, yung circumstansya. Those are the circumstantial evidence na tinatawag. So, bakit ba sila nag-away? Dahil lang sa pulutan. No? Naubusan ng pulutan. No? So, indirectly kasi ang mga yon. No? Yung pagpatay, iba naman yun kasi. Yung pagpatay, yung pananaksak, yung pamamaril. Kasi yan na yung crime na nangyari. But prior to that, meron pa bang indirectly na it induced the person to commit crime, and that is circumstantial evidence. Ngayon, meron tayong kinds of physical evidence dito. So, tatlo ito, I think. So, number one ay yung corpus delicti. Pag sinabi natin corpus delicti, that is the essential parts of the body of the crime. Take note, this corpus delicti is not the body of the victim. It is the essential part of the body of the crime. It's like, for example, robbery. Mayroon bang sinira? Mayroon bang dinaanan yung mga magnanakaw? And that is corpus delicti. Okay? So, yung associative evidence naman, yan naman yung mga fingerprints na na-recover sa crime scene. O kaya ay shoe prints. Yan yung mga ebidensya na it considered as associative evidence. Yung tracing naman evidence ay that will link only to a suspect. Just like for example, yung mag-identify sa kanya, yung halimbawa yung ID, yung nabanggit natin kanina, mga gamit, yung tracing evidence ang tawag natin diyan. Ngayon, in collecting evidence ay huwag niyong kalilimutan, mga kaibigan, na ang investigador, anything that you touch, anything that you move, dapat naka-guantes ka, naka-gloves ka. Right? Naka-gloves ka. So, ito yung magiging final submission ninyo. Kung ganito pa rin na online tayo, gawin ninyo, mag-isa ninyo. Submission ito. Pero kung magkakaroon tayo ng face-to-face, we will group you into a investigating team. Just like the composition of SOCO team in responding a crime incident. So, basically, ay kinakailangan mayroon kayong gloves. At of course, before you touch, before you move, sabi nga dyan, ay kailangan it measured, sketch, and photograph the crime scene. Upang sa ganun ay hindi ma-mutilate, ma-alter, or ma-contaminate. In other words, hindi masira yung mga ebidensya dyan sa crime scene. So, kapag daw firearms ang kukunin, ang i-collect, ay be cautious. Kasi may mga kwan tayo dyan, may mga ruling tayo dyan, may guidelines tayo in order to pick up the firearm. So, kukuha ka lang ng string, o kaya ay handkerchief, at ilalagay mo sa trigger guard, dyan mo itataas. Yan, tataas mo yan, and then ilalagay mo sa evidence bag. Yan, and then lalagyan mo ng tagging niya. No? And then kapag yan naman ay mga liquid evidence, kagaya ng blood, yung mga dugo, urine, in a form of liquid evidence, ay may mga procedure using dropper. Yung dropper para sipsipin niya, o kaya ay yung mga ginagawa ng kaibigan nating investigador, kukuha sila ng cotton buds at ipapasipsip doon, and that will form part as yung preservation, the preservation of evidence. Okay, so in marking of evidence ay kinakailangan kung magmarka ka ng ebidensya, just like shell, bullet, firearms, you need to use a steel instrument, at ang tawag dyan ay yung stylus instrument. Okay, tagging of evidence, yan, maglalagay ka, halimbawa, you mark the pieces of evidence, sulatan mo dyan sa evidence bag, plastic evidence, ay lagyan mo ng blood, hairs, fibers, ganyan ang ilalagay. Place in the plastic container, o kaya ay plastic evidence bag, o kaya ay evidence bag. Yeah, no? And then preserving the evidence, kung ano daw yung nature, the evidence na nakolek sa crime scene, ay ganun din ang nature niya hanggang makarating kay laboratory sa forensic unit. Until from forensic unit, ganun din dapat ang itsura hanggang makarating kay korte. But usually, sabi naman ng mga investigador, yung result of the investigation na lang. Bibihira lang daw yung titingnan pa ng korte kung ano yung itsura, ano yung physical evidence. But mostly ay the result of the investigation ng forensic unit. Okay, and then of course chain of custody. Ito yung minsan hindi pinapansin ng mga investigador natin. Yung chain of custody, basta na lang ibinigay. Tama naman na ibinigay, ipinasa kay forensic unit, o kaya ay ipinasa sa isang investigador, senior investigator. Okay lang naman yun, pero kailangan mayroon kayong kasulatan na re-receive niya yung ebidensya. Kapag na-follow yung procedure na yon, ang tawag doon ay chain of custody, para hindi mawala, kasi maraming mga kaso ang nadidismiss dahil hindi na malocate kung nasaan yung evidence na yon, kung sino ang nagtago, kasi minsan inuuwi ng investigador yung mga pieces of evidence na yon. Okay? So, pagdating naman sa computer evidence, kung halimbawa you raid a computer evidence na kung saan yan yung ginagamit nila to scam sa Pogo, ayan ang kwan ngayon, latest. Pag reneed nila ang Pogo, nako, ang daming computer ang laman ng room na yan, ng building na yan. Sabi dyan, kung yung computer daw ay naka-off at the time of the arrival, ay huwag nyo nang i-on. At kapag naka-on naman during your arrival, do not turn it off. Okay, or touch the mouse or keyboard. Wag nyo munang galawin. So, ang guideline natin ay to unplug, bunutin lang daw sa likod. Yung cable sa likod, bunutin lang daw yan. And that's it, sabi dyan. And markahan yung mga plug na yan. And then, carefully transport that. Of course, kailangan nakapack ng maayos. And only the computer forensic expert ang mag-examine sa computer na yan. Yan. So ano man ang findings, ang ma-recover nila dyan ay form part of the investigation. And kinakailangan din na i-duplicate yung evidence. May duplicate yung mga evidence kay evidence custodian for future court presentation. Okay. So let's proceed to the next topic natin, and that is the police intelligence. So ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng police intelligence? Pag sinabi nating police intelligence, that is the end product. Pag sinabi nating end product, kumbaga positive yung information. Pag positive yung information, that is considered as police intelligence. Pero kapag hindi pa process yung information or hindi pa nako-confirm yung information, later on madidiscuss natin ano ba yung guideline para masabi natin na ang isang information ay confirmed at ang isang information ay hindi pa confirmed o kaya ay yung tinatawag nilang raw information. RAW, raw information. Kumbaga makan or pagkain hindi pa luto. Hindi pa luto. Hindi pa pwede. Parang gano'n. That is raw information. Pero kapag yan ay okay na, that is called police intelligence. It is the end product resulting from the collection. Yan yung result niya from the collection, evaluation, analysis. At with regards to the criminal activities of criminal and other law violators. That is considered police intelligence. Iba naman sa military intelligence. Of course, that is intended for military operation. Kaya tinatawag na military intelligence. Mayroon kasi tayong kanya-kanyang intelligence Kapag PNP, meron silang sariling intel unit. Sa military, may sarili din silang intel unit. Sa taga-bantay dagat natin. Coast Guard, may mga intel unit din ang mga yan. Okay? So, focus muna tayo sa police intelligence. So, ang tawag natin sa officer who carry the objectives of police intelligence ay police intelligence officer ang tawag natin sa kanya. At meron siyang qualities. Kaya kung kayo gusto nyong maging intel officer, ay kailangan ito yung qualities ninyo o kaya ay i-assign kayo dito, kailangan meron kayo nito. Kasi kung wala kayo nito, magiging palpak ang trabaho ninyo or ang operation ninyo. So unang-una, of course, magaling ka. Yan ang number one, knowledge, ability. That refers to the intelligence and mental capacity of the officer. So yan dapat ang quality kasi nga intel ka And then number two, perceptive about people. You know how to to judge a people based on personal character, a good judgment about the character of a person. May mga ganyan kasi Kaya minsan hindi sila nagtitiwala. Bakit? Kasi based on their instinct ay hindi ito nagsasabi ng totoo o kaya ay suspicious ito na tao. Delikado ito. Kaya may mga ganyan. Perceptive about people. Tawag natin yan. And then, dapat flexible ka. O kaya ay adaptability. You adjust yourself kung saan ka mang mapunta. Halimbawa, napunta ka o kaya ay ikaw ay taga-city. O kaya ay ikaw ay taga-probinsya. At napadpad ka sa lugar na you are uncomfortable. Dapat you know how to adjust. No? That is meant by flexibility. And of course, you can distinguish between facts and fiction. May mga tao kasi na yung kausap nila, nadidetermine nila kung nagsasabi ba ng totoo, ini-exaggerate yung kwento. May mga ganyan May mga ability na ganyan ang mga tao. So, dapat may ganyan din daw kayo. Okay? And possess inquisitiveness or an inquiring man. Ano ba yung inquisitiveness? yung matanong. Dapat lagi kang matanong. Okay naman yung nagtatanong in a nice way. Sabi nga sa interrogation, if you uh, if you ask a question in a right time, in a right place, you will get a right answer. Di ba? So, ganyan yan. So, walang problema sa nagtatanong. Dapat isipin mo muna, tama ba yung tanong mo? Is it proper? Is it in a right time? Is it in a right place? Eh, kasi kung i-observe mo yan, automatically, you will get a right answer. So, that's it. Oh. And of course, have ingenuity. Ay may sarili kang diskarte. At yung diskarte na yan ay dapat in line with the law. You must not violate the law. You uh, do not violate a law. No? Yan yung have ingenuity. Of course, alert ka rin. And you can express your ideas clearly. Kasi nga, ang investigador, they need to narrate the investigator is also a witness in the court. So kaya kailangan you know how to express yourself. And yan ang importante, yung discipline. Lagi kong sinasabi yan. Discipline yourself. Ang discipline kasi malawak yan eh. Pag sinabi nating discipline, hindi lang yung discipline sa paglalakad, discipline sa pagsagot, no? Kasama rin lahat yan, yung discipline ng pananamit. So malawak ang ibig sabihin ng discipline. Kung saan ka mapunta, dapat disiplinado ka. And patient and hardworking, hindi yung patamad-tamad. And of course, as intelligent officer, mayroon kang magandang memory. Good memory, hindi yung makakalimutin ka. Kaya nga, usually, ang mga intelligent officer, yung mga bata-bata eh. And of course, may integridad ka, hindi ka nababayaran. Baka naman si mayor lang ang inimbestigahan mo or si kapitan lang, ibinayaran ka ng 1,000, tumiklop ka na. Hindi ka na nagsalita. And of course, discreet. You know how to discipline your mouth. Your mouth, it only talk when it need to talk. That is called discreet. Mayroon secrecy. Okay. Not only in the Philippines na meron tayong intelligence agency, ganun din sa ibang bansa. Just like yung Central Intelligence Agency sa Amerika. So ito yung an agency created under US. Right. And ang kauna-unahang director dyan ay si Admiral Roscoe Helen Cutter. Okay. So, yan, yung Central Intelligence Agency or yung CIA. At pagdating naman sa Russia, meron tayong KGB. KGB, ano ba ang KGB? Komitet Gosudarbsbinoy Besopasnoste. Na ang ibig sabihin ay this is the intelligence agency of Russia, the premier internal security intelligence and secret police organization ng Russia. Yan. So, importante yan. So, kung sa ibang bansa may intelligent unit sila, ganun din sa Pilipinas. Meron din tayo niyan. Okay? At sa Israel naman, meron silang Mossad, ang tawag, yung intelligence agency in Israel. At ang kauna-unahang director dyan ay si Reuben Shalowa. And ang Mossad or yung intelligence agency, they are responsible for intelligence collection, covert operation, and counter-terrorism. See? So, yan yung mga functions nila. Okay. Yan. And may dalawang branch ng Mossad. Yung Aman and Shabak. Ang Aman, yan yung military intelligence nila. At ang Shabak naman, yan yung for security services or internal security. So, ganun din naman sa atin. Meron tayong military. Ang military, for combatant operation. Yung mga outside of the urban or rural area of the community. yung SHABAC sa kanila, yan yung security services or internal security within the urban or within the rural area naman yan, yung SHABAC. Okay, so sa atin naman, may mga pulis naman tayo. So yan naman yung nandito sa community natin. At sa Korea naman, KCI, meron silang Korean Central Intelligence Agency naman yan. Okay. So, super spy daw, sabi. Oh. And we have the functional classification of police intelligence. Meron tayong criminal intelligence or CRIMENT. Of course, sa salita pa lang, ang purpose nito na intelligence ay for criminal in order to detect criminal. Kaya nga, paano ba natin nadidetect ang mga criminal? Yan sa baba niya, mapapansin nyo, we can detect criminal using surveillance, using informants, using interrogation and search. Yan yung kung saan we can identify those criminal in the community. So, ang tawag natin dyan ay criminal intelligence or CRIMENT in short. Yan. To arrest criminals. And internal security. Ano naman ang ibig sabihin nito? Internal security intelligence or INSINT. Yan yung shortcut niya, INSINT. Internal security intelligence, this refers to the knowledge essential to the maintenance of peace and order. So halimbawa, kagaya nung pumunta kami dyan, sa part of Mindanao, example lang dyan sa picture, ayan, nagkakagulo. Papasok ngayon ang mga kapulisan natin to gather information kung ano ba ang nangyayari, bakit nagkakaganyan. Ayun pala, may mga abusayap, may mga rebelde, may mga lawless element pala sa lugar na yan. At yan naman yung isosuppress ng ating mga kapulisan to maintain peace and order. Yan. So, internal security intelligence ang tawag dyan. Kaya kung may mga pulis tayo sa community, that is form part of internal security. Kasi may mga pulis dyan may mga nagbabantay. Kaya huwag tayong matakot kung may mga checkpoint, may mga nagpapatrolya, dapat matuwa pa tayo. We feel secure if we notice the presence of police officer. Okay, so meron din tayong public safety intelligence. Kaya nga, kapag sinasabi ng media, ng gobyerno natin na may nakapasok na ISIS, may nakapasok na abusayap, o kaya ay grupo to spread terror or terrorism, terorista. Pinipigilan yan kaagad-agad kasi mahirap. Sabi nga sa principle ng crime prevention, it is better to prevent, prevention is better than cure. Hintayin mo pa bang mayroong ganyan sumabog sa presentation natin? Hintayin mo pa ba? Wag na. Wag mo nang hintayin na magkaroon ng chaos sa community. So that is all about public safety intelligence. The knowledge essential to ensure the protection of lives and property. And let's proceed to the form of intelligence. If we are dealing with the demographic and psychological aspect of group of people, we are referring to sociological intelligence. Ang tawag natin dyan ay sociological intelligence. Lalong-lalo na kapag ikaw ay bago ka pa lang sa lugar, kailangan i-apply mo yan. For you to adjust, for you to know how to deal sa mga tao dyan sa community. Kasi may mga lugar na gustong-gusto nila na greet sila kapag dumaan ka. Dapat i-greet mo sila. Kapag hindi mo ginawa yun, masama yun na kwan nila sa iyo. Diba? Ganyan. That is all about sociological intelligence. You must study the psychological aspect of the group of people. Kapag naman yan ay you need to study the individual personality on your area, on your AOR, area of responsibility, ang tawag naman dyan ay biographical intelligence naman ang tawag natin dyan. Okay? So, yan. No, in our slide ay operation. And kapag naman you are going to study the terrain of a certain area, the area of your operation, ang tawag naman dyan ay geographical intelligence. Geographical intelligence. And usually, ito ay ina-apply ng mga military intelligence or operative. Okay. Sana all. All right. So, in this is the kinds of intelligence. Meron tayong dalawa dito, yung strategic intelligence and line intelligence. Pag sinabi nating strategic intelligence, ito yung ang nature nito ay pangmatagalan. Kagaya yung operation nila kay Marwan. That is a long process hanggang sa, kasi maraming Oplan operation yan eh. Meron nga akong narinig na Oplan Exodus. Ano pa? Oplan tatlo ata yan eh. Nakalimutan ko na. Pasensya na. Kalimutan ko na. Hanggang sa last na yung okay na yung operation nila. May tawag ulit doon na operation, na Oplan. Hanggang sa, yun na. Hanggang sa nagkaroon na tayo ng issue about yan sa SAF 44 na yan. Okay, that is strategic intelligence. So, medyo kanyan. Tingnan nyo, yan, it involves yung high-ranking individuals or high-ranking of our nation, of our country. Sino ba ang nagplano, di ba? Ang suspect dyan, yung Chief PNP, Pinoy, President Pinoy, sila yung nagkwan doon sa operation na yun. So, that is strategic intelligence. Ngayon, dito naman sa line intelligence, it is immediate in nature. Ibig sabihin niyan, it required by the commander to decide immediately. Ang tawag diyan, line intelligence. So, halimbawa, mayroon kang isosolve, kailangan may decision na kagad-agad ang commander. Example, shooting, hostage taking. Diba? Pag may na-report sa'yo, hostage taking, okay, dispatch kagad-agad and then pwesto kagad-agad. Ano ang decision? Magiging decision. Kasi the longer na hindi nasisettle ang hostage situation ay critical o kaya ay delikado. Pwedeng mamatay yung hostage victim. So that is an example of line intelligence. So it provides immediate in nature, provide planning, tactical operation, and etc. Okay? So, there are 5 military aspects of terrain, yung covert and concealment. So, pag sinabi natin covert, that is planned and executed as to conceal the identity or permit plausible denial. So, covert, just like covert operation. Secret, ang other term ng covert ay secret o kaya ay sometimes sinasabi nila na covert. Baga tinatago, nakatago, covert. Right? At ang concealment naman ay obscuring something from view. Ang concealment, yung hindi ka nakikita. Kagaya ng mga military natin, ito yung mga taktika nila, kung ano yung kulay ng environment. Ganon din ang camouflage nila. Naka-camouflage sila. Okay? So, that's it. Yan. Hanggang sa hindi gumagalaw, hanggang sa naging ganyan na. Okay? And then number 2 ay yung obstacle. Obstacle. This is an objecting action or situation that causes an obstruction. Either obstruction ito sa enemy or obstruction sa mga operative. Just like yan, yan yung nakaharang leon or whatsoever na obstruction. Ano yun, yung bangin, bato na area. Those are a situation considered as obstacles. Raining, umuulan, mga ganyan. May mga nakakausap tayo, mga kaibigan natin. Pag nag-ooperate daw sila, mas maganda yung umuulan kasi yung mga kalaban, nakasilong, no? Nakatago sa kubo. Doon binabanatan ano yung mga kalaban. And then number 3, yung critical key terrain features. And this is called the vertical horizontal dimension of land surface, kaya terrain, o kaya ay description of the place. Ano ang importance niyan? Example, for your escape, ay alam mo yung tatakbuhan mo, saan ka pupunta, saan direction ka pupunta, nasaan yung critical area, just like that, bangin pala, ano yung kailangan mong i-escape or pasukan. Yan, that is the importance of critical key terrain features. And of course, observation. An activity of of a living being consistent of receiving knowledge. The term also refer to any data that need to data collected during operation. Yan. Yung what is your observation? Ano yung nakita mo? Marami ba sila? Konti ba sila? Ano yung mga armas? May armas o wala? Kung wala, maganda. Kasi kayo may armas, di ba? And then, the next is yung counter intelligence. Ayan, counter intelligence. So, ang counter intelligence ay this is an intelligence that devoted in destroying the effectiveness of the enemy. Kaya nga tinawag na counter intelligence. Kapag wala bang kalaban, you can apply counter intelligence kung walang kalaban. Hindi, dapat meron. No, sila yung nauna. Kapag sa boxing sana, sa suntukan, nasuntok ka na. Nandyan na sila. Magka-counter ka. Pag sumuntok ka, yun yung counter mo. Kaya nga ang tawag sa counter intelligence dyan o sa baba niya is known as negative intelligence kasi babahanat ka rin eh. Okay? So, ano ba ang purpose kasi niyan? Halimbawa, nakapasok yung mga terorista, mga rebelde. Hindi natin alam, may mga rebelde pala sa Kongreso. So, anong gagawin? Magka-counter attack tayo. And ang purpose nito ay to protect information. Poprotektahan natin ang information na meron tayo kasi delikado yan pag nalaman nila. Nalaman nila na ang baril mo ay hindi pumuputok. Nalaman nila na ang baril ninyo ay kalahati lang ang functional. Protection of personnel. Yung mga leader, kailangan proteksyonan ang mga yan. Kaya may gwardiya ang mga leader natin to protect them. Kasi pag nawala sila, sino ang magiging tatayong leader? Mawawasak ang gobyerno. Pag ganon. And protection against sabotage. Baka may magpapabomba. No? Those are the important activities of counterintelligence.